Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here, and I'm a kick-ass business coach, and I'm on an absolute mission to help you find your purpose in life, to help you love what you do for work every single day, to help you be the rock star that you are meant to be, to make more money than you ever thought was possible, and to have more time freedom so you can actually enjoy the life that you're living. I'm here to help you set your life on fire.
Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Dewey from Nick Unsworth's team over at Life on Fire here. If I could get a couple people to just pop over and let me know how my audio sounds, that would be fantastic in the questions. So my man, Mr. Unsworth, accidentally dislocated his knee, we think, or something along those lines. So he's hobbling around on crutches and Vicodin and whatnot, and he's at the doctor's office today. So we're wishing him well. He'll be back in action no time soon. But oddly enough, we weren't actually going to have Nick on today's call anyway, so that's actually not the reason he's here. So we actually had a PR interview lined up. He was supposed to be on TV today, and so we had to juggle a couple things around. But we do have a special guest presenter, one of our Fire Starter Elites, Mr. Will Mitchell here, who is going to tell you about how he grew a business importing goods from China. And the interesting part is not necessarily the business itself, it's how he built the business and what he did technically online with SEO and blogging and whatnot that allowed him to build the business and create what he had a little empire going at a pretty early age. So, Will, come on in, my man.
Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, sounding great, sir. I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter, and I'm going to turn the call over to you. Absolutely.
Cool, thank you.
Happy to have you here, sir. All right. I'm going to let you dive right in. I'm going to hand you the controls here.
Okay, so I didn't have a ton of time to prepare for this. Ryan just asked me the other day if I could jump on and tell you guys a little bit about what I do and how I did it. So, yeah, and of course, anyone just let me know if the audio is bad or anything. But that being said, I didn't have too much time to put this together, so I decided to just kind of open up all of my data and show you guys everything I can. So any questions you guys have, I'd like to keep it a little loose. And I don't know if Ryan, you could help me out. Maybe just if anyone has a question or if I start going in a direction that you guys don't think is valuable for you, please just jump in and let me know. So that being said, let me show my screen, and I hope you guys can see that. What I'm basically going to do is go through a product I was going to build, and I still might build, that basically shows how I built my website, startupbros.com. And for anyone that doesn't know, startupbros.com is my website that I run. It's just a blog for new entrepreneurs. We kind of help new entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs get their first successful business online. So what basically happened was I was running a marketing consulting firm and my personal website, willmitchell.com, and I was posting content just to build an authority figure around myself, and found that I wasn't getting the results I wanted to on my willmitchell.com blog. So I dove into the brand, and I really said, how can I build a brand that my target audience wants to interact with, and that I'll have fun. I want to build a business that I'll have fun running, a lot like what Nick teaches in Life on Fire. So that's how Startup Bros was kind of born, through a lot of testing, market testing, knowing what target market we wanted to target, and then figuring out which branding was going to be most lucrative and most engaging to them before we actually gave them the content. So that's kind of what the blog I run now. And like Ryan was saying, this is supposed to be a startup blog, but our #1 article, as you can see, is about importing from China. So about 90% of our audience now is all about importing from China, and I just think that's a really interesting fact. I didn't expect when I started this blog. I expected to struggle helping entrepreneurs and things like that. But what ended up happening was I had one article that went viral, and now my entire audience only cares about that. So was an interesting turn of events, to say the least. But so let me show you guys just how I did it and kind of my thought process and everything. And this is just a little step by step that I put together. Sorry, I don't have any like nifty presentation or anything. I just got this little mind map for you. But so the first thing I did was I got really clear on the idea, the vision, the strategy, and I got my positioning really clear. Like I said, I thought about my target audience and how I could create a brand that they would be most engaging for them to engage with. Um, so the first step is laying the foundation and developing your idea into a focused vision. I mean, I know tons of people on this call. Everyone here, there's people that have tons more experience than I do. I mean, really, the only thing I did was create a decent brand that people want to engage with. And before I go any further, let me just show you some of the traffic data to show you why this is, at least to me, a pretty big deal. So you can see now we're getting over 75,000 uniques a month. And this wasn't started that long ago. So this traffic has just gone out of control. And I don't write that many blog articles or anything, but so this is within the last year. You can see my traffic has gone from just actually, let me get in a different ad account that shows some more historical data. So you can see this year with this recent jump, ironically, the day that I got into Nick's coaching program, my traffic just jumped 45%. Look at that. But
That's not
you
ironic.
can see that. I know, right? That's just Nick's positivity rubbing off on me. But you can see that I mean, we really don't do that much marketing. We just once a month or so we'll write a blog post, and just off of that, you can see we're now going to get over 1 million people viewing our website this year. These are daily visits. Just because, I mean, this content scales. There's no reason not to have a blog up. Everyone in this room is doing very significant things and you guys are learning. You guys are having experiences that other people could learn from. But at least for me, for some reason, I didn't have the confidence to actually put this content up for the longest time. I thought, there's too much competition. How am I going to compete with Copyblogger, ProBlogger, all these other people? But the truth is, your experiences are just as valuable as anyone else's. So the content scales, which is the thing that really surprised me. Like the importing post, this was the initial burst of the importing post, 1,000 or 1,200 people in one day. Now we get, 3,000 people in one day just to that article. And this is when it was going viral. So that's just kind of why I think it's significant. You can build, I mean, just off of these numbers, even when we just started, even off of 500 people a day, if you have a $100 product and get 500 people a day to your site, if you can convert one person a day, you're gonna, or I'm sorry, 1% a day, you're gonna make $2,500 a day on a $500 product. So, so it's just really amazing to see how much this can scale into a business just off of the content I put up. And I think that's the main value I would like you guys to get out of listening to me today, is that there's no reason to not just get started. Run a few A/B tests, put up a brand that people like, and put the content up, and it'll serve you for years and years down the line. But I know I'm getting a little off topic here, so let me go back to step one here. So refine your idea and your vision and your topic. Let me show you the A/B test that we ran when we first opened this up. Originally, Startup Bros was going to be a site called what was I going to call it? Online Income Labs, I think. And it was basically just going to be, we were going to do a whole bunch of business ideas and see based on that. We were just going to share our business experiences with people that were trying to, and it quickly evolved from that once we ran a few A/B tests and saw that. I'm sorry, this data's not showing you too much, but actually, I have a blog article about this too. So the main thing we did in the beginning that I think really paid off for us was these these initial A/B tests. So like we A/B tested our logo, we A/B tested our tagline, we A/B tested our name, we A/B tested the positioning of all our sidebar objects and things like that, the colors of the site, everything.
And real
So
quick,
you know, in the beginning, I would.
do you want to just explain
Sorry,
what
go
an
ahead.
A/B test is, if there's anybody on the line who doesn't know?
Oh yeah, definitely. So an A/B test is basically so I'm running A/B tests all the time on my website. The one A/B test I'm running right now is basically anytime you go to my about page right here, you're gonna see one of two different pages right now. Actually, one of two different biographies for me. So right now, if you go to my about page, you're either gonna see this or a completely different biography that reads slightly differently and has a slightly different goal. So with 50% of my traffic going to one page of copy and 50% going to the other page, site A and site B, I can go through and see how much that affects everything really in my business, just those people reading that. So you can see just off of changing 2 lines in my bio, I have a 15% conversion rate increase right now, and this is an early test still. But you can see you can drive your conversion rate up just by changing little elements on a page, and that's what A/B testing's for. Visual Website Optimizer is the tool I use for A/B testing, and yeah, it's an incredible tool. Basically, if I wanted to A/B test something right now, I'd go on Visual Website Optimizer. I'd go on there, say just like click my logo. It'll ask me which picture I want to replace it with. So I put up a different logo, and then 50% of my traffic will go to one page, 50% will go to the other page, and I can see how much that influences people, how much more time they spend on my site, if they go to more pages, if they're more likely to sign up for my email box based on the colors or the style of the logo, or say the words in the tagline or things like that. So yeah, like I said, you know, I got my logo created, or actually let me go through the name first. Um, so the original name test I ran, sorry, one second. So the initial A/B test I ran for the business, like I was saying, I had all this content up on willmitchell.com, and it was all just doing absolutely horribly. And eventually I decided that I'm just going to rebrand the whole business, bring in different partners, kind of make it a whole type of you know, information business instead of just branded with me, because I figured people would be more likely to interact with a big brand like or something they interpret to be a big brand rather than just willmitchell.com, you know. So you know, I go through, I come up with a whole bunch of different business names, and like I said, our main business, it was going to be Online Income Labs, but we just put up these pages and drove some free Google traffic. That was another one of our names, Jedi Startups. So we put up all these things with the different business models, basically the different positioning to our target market, the different brands basically, and we just put up these simple little landing pages and drove Google AdWords traffic and Facebook traffic from our target audience to this page, and the pages like it. And then we saw based on that data, and let's see, this is the final results of that A/B test. So you can see just the Startup Bros name had a 28% conversion rate. Startup Buds, just that one little word had a 20% conversion rate decrease. So that means, I mean, it's really ridiculous to me to think that if I launched this business as Startup Buds and didn't run this one little test, that everything I do would have performed 20% worse, because my brand would have thought you know, they would be 20% less engaged with my brand by default just because of the name. So you can see my Income Labs one didn't do too well either. So this is where we got the Startup Bros name, was this A/B test. And this is all stuff that I recommend everyone does. I know, you know, people, for some reason, a lot of people don't A/B test. I'm just A/B testing constantly. And you can literally optimize every part of your business to do what you want it to do through A/B testing. And that's really the only reason Startup Bros is a successful blog. I mean, I put the same, literally the content that was on willmitchell.com, I ran a few A/B tests, created a decent brand, and I took the content off of willmitchell.com, didn't even delete it, just reposted it on Startup Bros, and it would get thousands and thousands of views. Whereas I would promote my ass off with the willmitchell.com content, and it would just fizzle out completely immediately. So that was one A/B test we ran, was on the name itself. After that, we A/B tested taglines. And then, like I said, we A/B tested logos. This was our original logo. And went through 99 designs, got a whole bunch of new logo designs. And you can see we A/B tested all of these logos, which luckily we had a little bit of traffic, so this didn't take too long. So these were our potential logos, basically. And variant 10 down here, I think converted at 15 or 20% higher than our current logo, or than our old logo. So, I mean, it just goes to show you we changed it just a little bit, and I mean, look at the difference some of these logo differences have made. So these are just things that I don't understand why every business doesn't at least try once, at least in the initial stages. But I guess getting back to our mind map.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I didn't even know you were going to get into that part. So I'm curious, what were some of the primary conversion factors that you were measuring? Was it just one? Was it opt-ins onto your list, or what types of conversions were you measuring when you were doing that testing for your logos and all those little elements?
Right. Yeah, and that's a really important, really good question, really important thing to ask. So a lot of people go into these tests without a goal, and that's why a lot of times they won't mean anything. So it's very important to set a goal beforehand and have a hypothesis and see if it's proven right or proven wrong, and not to fit the data to your decision, basically. But yeah, so our only metric here was fill in this email box. If they filled in this box, then we had them. Because some of the things, some of the things they had higher time on site. Some of them, which just means we had more interesting copy that they read, but ultimately it was distracting because it didn't drive them to fill out that box, which is the only goal in the Startup Bros brand, basically in the blog, is to bring people into our email list. So yeah, as you can see in here, I had our main goal here was form submits. So this is on the About page test, for example. So this is on the About page right now. I'm running this. So right now I'm testing, this is the form submits. So that's testing this form and this form specifically. So if people fill out those forms, then it'll count towards that. You can also track a bunch of other things, but again, that's my main metric here. So so you can see, like, even this is giving me a 15% increase on that middle form, but I have a 15% decrease on this form. But the only reason for that is because when people read through this and picture myself, when people read through this, and my goal with this is to get them to fill out these forms, the inline forms. When people read this and it convinces them to fill out the inline form, then they're not going to click this at any other point. And if they do, then my software is going to track it. So basically, that's why you see an exact 15% decrease on that goal. So yeah, like Ryan said, I don't know if I explained that very well, but like Ryan said, you have to be very careful about the goals that you're testing, and to make sure that, yeah, you do have to think that through pretty far, because just like this, I mean, it's easy to read into the data the wrong way. So start with very simple A/B tests and work your way up as you start to understand and see how things work more.
Awesome. Good stuff, man. So we're getting some questions on this. It probably makes sense for you to keep going so you get through everything that you were planning to, and then we'll save some time for the questions towards the end. But
Okay.
if you guys have questions, pop them in, and give a little context instead of like, what did he just say? Those are always kind of hard to answer like a half an hour later. So, but yeah, keep going with the questions, guys, and we'll definitely save some time for those. So awesome, good stuff, man.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry if some of this is probably, I'm probably this I'm butchering this mind map, I guess, but I'm kind of jumping all over the place. This isn't usually what I teach, so I'm just trying to, like I said, if you guys have any questions, like, I know I always, before I had and I still do. I always try to see like what content is doing what for people. Like to see like people's analytics data. So if you guys want to see any data or anything, just pop that in the box too, and I'll show you at the end. But so back to our mind map. You have laying that foundation, and I guess I kind of went into step 2 on this, but so yeah, really get clear on your what your differentiator is, why people would even want to read you in the first place. Get clear on who your target market is. Get clear on all those really basic things first, and what you're going to do for your target market. Once you are clear on that, I think then you can start coming up with name ideas, things like that. So that's what step 2 is here, is deciding on the fundamentals of your business. And that's testing your name, tagline, logo, domain, everything. Testing all your brand elements, right? So step 2, making it official. Picking a name and other essential elements. So I kind of already talked about this. So go through those branding basics. Figure out the colors of your business. Figure out a lot of the vocabulary that you use is really important with conversion optimization. So, you know, put up a few different landing pages with, even if you only have one business name in mind and you're just set on that business name, put up a few different landing pages and write your copy in a different way in each page, and see if different vocabulary or talking to your target audience in different ways can influence them to fill out that form. Because I promise you it can, and most people just don't try. Most people just go through and come up with one brand language, one brand voice, and just stick to it forever. And it'll work sometimes, but there's always going to be something that works better. I'm still A/B testing. Like I said, I'm A/B testing my about page right now, my bio. So I'm always A/B testing everything, even stuff that works. If I have an idea to A/B test something, then I'll jump on that motivation and do it. So really dig down on that, and I can't stress enough to test it all. And that's basically it. Test it to perfection. The testing will never end. Like we'll probably replace our logo again. We'll replace our tagline maybe as the business pivots and changes. But I would never make any change or even a initial decision that is big as branding or a tagline or anything like that without testing it and making sure that actually drives people to do what I want them to do on my site. So that's that. And then after you get all those things set up and you start to find the brand elements, that the puzzle that fits together in a way that your target market will actually want to sign up for your list and see what once you have a brand and all the elements are in place in the right way, that it flows and creates that engagement with your target market that you're looking for, then you have to do the grunt work. You have to actually set this up. And of course, I would always do WordPress. I would do a WordPress host like WP Engine, or I'm on Pressable.com, and these are just like WordPress optimized hosting solutions where they'll optimize their entire server just for WordPress and won't host anything but WordPress. So I've been hooked on those lately. So that's what I would recommend. And then I know this is really tough for most people, but don't let it be, because WordPress, the whole point of WordPress is making this really easy, setting up websites and stuff. Once you figure out how to use WordPress, it's a skill. I didn't think when I learned how to use it when I was like 14 that I'd still be using it today, but it's one of my most used skills, is just knowing my way around WordPress and stuff. So I wouldn't be afraid of the technical side of all this. But at the same time, you can always hire someone especially if you have all the brand elements and the logo and everything made, you can hire someone to throw together a site like this in no time. I mean, I made this whole thing, and obviously I didn't I'm not too much of a designer, but everything works, and I have a great conversion rate and everything just because I test and I know what my target market wants. So yeah, and then if you guys want, I can go a little bit deeper on this side of things in the Q&A if you want, but I'm not going to go through and start telling you guys about plugins and stuff. So then you're going to start creating your outposts. This is where you're basically going to start, building your brand's presence and your brand's identity outside of the website itself, kind of the outbound marketing foundation. So where to build and why? That's a big thing to figure out. I can show you guys in our traffic data what worked for us, like what the biggest site for us so far has been Reddit, surprisingly, followed by Facebook, followed by Twitter. So we pretty much focus on those three mainly. But again, most businesses and even most brands are going to attract different target markets, and you just have to figure out what your audience is and where they're hanging out, and start to lay the foundation that you're going to use later on to promote into those. And then yeah, you kind of let me see what I have next here. Yeah, so and then you're kind of just gonna like plan out what you're gonna do. So basically, with our blog, every piece of content that we post is good for us. It helps all of our old content. It helps all of our new content. It brings people in from Google, things like that. So so our whole business is just posting a piece of content a month, and then sending out an email to our email list, and then promoting on a few specific networks. And we have this down to the point now, and this is where everyone has to get if they're going to do this on to any scale, is to operationalize all this so we can pass it off to virtual assistants or employees or anything if we grow, which is our goal, obviously. So so we're very big on automating all this, saying, okay, here, when we posted a new piece of content, here's a list of 15 things that that you do with that content. So so you know, they posted on Reddit, they posted on our Facebook with we still do this, but in theory. So right now we posted on Reddit, we posted on Facebook with a short quip about the article or whatever. Posted on our personal Facebooks, Twitter, personal Twitters, a few other things. And that's basically, you know, we've done all the testing and everything, so I know where our target audience is and when they're going to click onto our site now. So we know where to promote now, and it's pretty much automated. I mean, promotion isn't a big problem for us anymore because the brand creates the engagement, creates the environment for our target market that they want to share our stuff with their friends. So the branding is really important. It's more important than any of this. I would much rather have a brand that when anyone hits my site, they go out and share it with two other people in my target market. I would much rather have that than knowing how to drive traffic from these places. So I don't want to stress this too much, but you do need your basic credibility builder, so Facebook page, Twitter page, all that stuff, and yeah, from there, you know, you can kind of see as you start posting content where the traffic's coming from. If your target market takes it off and puts it on another site and it does well there, then maybe you want to put that into your stack of places that you're going to promote to. So just things like that. So once you have all that and you kind of have everything created, then you're going to start actually developing your launch plan, and you're going to start creating content. So this is really the biggest part, because the quality of the content is really all anyone cares about in the end. You know, if you have good quality content on a great brand, then people are going to share it. If you have good quality content and a bad brand, people probably won't share it, but they're still going to like the content and still develop a relation with you. So the content really is the most important part. And I call this prepare for liftoff, developing and executing your launch strategy. So basically, come up with a few initial articles, figure out what you're going to try to teach people at first, what value are you going to try to give to them for free through your blog post that will cause them to want to reciprocate, either by sharing your content, signing up for your email list, or you know, whatever the goal is. So yeah, I would just create amazing content. And the way I do this, again, there's no like great way to do this, right? All you guys, there's many people in here that are better business people than I am, and if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So this post I wrote because someone was emailing me asking me questions based on articles that had nothing to do with importing. This person was asking me about importing. So delivering value to my audience, I was emailing back and forth with him, trying to give him as much advice as I could. And he eventually asked so many questions, I said, you know what, I'm just going to write a blog post about it. And that's exactly what I did. And it says in this thing, that I did this when I was 13 to 16 years old. Obviously not the world's best importing expert in the world, but this article just absolutely killed it. And why did it kill it? Is because I I had no intention of getting anything back with this article. I think that's the main reason I did so well with it. Was the only goal with it was to deliver value to my target audience, was to answer the questions that they had. And I think that's the way to really build an audience and to build a brand recognition online, is to give away content for free, give value away for free, and they'll give it back to you. They'll just feel the need to reciprocate. It's just human nature. But so you see, I go through here and just go through the really basic things. Here's exactly how I would do it if I was going to do it again. Here's how to find a good product and potential suppliers, because it's exactly what the guy was asking me in the email. I just went through an email or answered the email. And I just literally told stories about it. And this is when I was 13 years old, so I don't even remember half of the experience, but I knew enough to show them how to do it. And you see, I go through and I have these screenshots. Multimedia is getting very big right now. People really like that mixture of visual content and written content. So you see, I get really in depth here. This is something like 11,000 words long. So you see, I'm literally just giving away the house. I mean, most people, if you went into this and said, I'm going to build the Startup Bros brand or an importing product, and I want to build an importing audience, I don't think I would have been able to do that. The only way I was able to do this was to just care about delivering value to the people that cared about me and reading my thoughts. So that's literally exactly what I did, and it just blew up. Like I said, we don't promote anything. We just throw it on a few websites and hope that it has legs on its own. So the thing just completely took off. I think now it's over like 150,000 or 200,000 uniques just on this article. And it's basically come to the point now where we have to, I mean, we have 1,000 comments on this thing. We have to create a product now just because there's so much money on the table. We're literally getting 3,000 people a day that come to this article that care about importing. Like right now, I think we're I don't know if we still are. But yeah, I mean, we're the number 2 result or number 1 result for how to import from China, or importing from China. So right now there's just too much money on the table for us now to not create an importing product. Like I was saying earlier, if we create a $100 product and I can convert 1% of the people that come to this page every day, that's 30 people per day buying a $100 product. So, and that's a business in and of itself, just off of one blog post that we didn't expect to go anywhere, and just based on the fact that I was helping out. I mean, that's really the only way to look at it. So that's how I look at my content now, is just give away everything, give away the house, and that's the way I figure out what products I'm going to build in my business, how I'm going to monetize my business. Is I know what my basic target audience is it's new entrepreneurs, specifically younger ones from 20 to 40. So I built a brand that they're going to engage with. I don't know exactly what topics they need to learn about right now. I don't know what their problems are right now, but I just go out and solve problems. I just answer questions I see people have or people ask me, and in turn it creates an authoritative figure around me, and people just naturally reciprocate it. And I'm actually helping my target audience, which is was how you build a business. So
that's awesome, man. So how much of that are you able to kind of reverse engineer and figure out, how much, I mean, I realize you can't quantify it in what percentage of traffic came from every single piece, but, how much of it do you relate back to keywords? How much of it are you relating back to just how you guys shared it and all that stuff? I mean, obviously now the fact that it's a number 1 ranking article on Google is, what's probably driving the majority of the traffic. But, how much of it are you able to kind of go back and say, we can attribute it to these factors as far as what created that explosion?
Right. So yeah, going into the traffic data, you know, you can pull out, and yeah, this is definitely a big part of all this too, is everyone make sure you have your analytics set up perfectly, because I mean, you absolutely need this data to be correct and reliable if you're gonna run the blog effectively. But so this is our traffic data for our content specifically. So you can see this how you can make money importing from China, 300,000 page views, 250 uniques, with an average of almost 7 minutes on site. And I think we can figure out where that traffic actually came from. The majority of it came from Reddit. What basically happened was Reddit Entrepreneur, someone posted the thing in there just with the same headline and everything, and that's kind of just what happened. It just completely blew up from there. I think we ended up getting like 500 upvotes, which at the time was like the number 8 most upvotes in that subreddit. So that's where it all blew up originally, and you can see that that was only 13,000, which, by the way, when we got this 13,000 from Reddit, that was the biggest day of my life. I was like, oh my god, everything's verified, but this brand actually works. But I mean, you can see it's just it pales in comparison now to what we get from Google. And like this article, this is a follow-up to this article. Google knows that because we say it all over the place, and it knows that people go from here to here and spend a lot of time there. But this article didn't even go viral anywhere. It's mainly this article, the how you can make big money importing from China. That went viral on Reddit Entrepreneur, and from there it just kept on blowing up. Again, because we built a brand that people were ready to engage with, that they weren't. There was no element in our brand that was going to put them off from engaging with it or sharing or taking some action with it. So people really like our brand, and so the people that came here, they had a high propensity to go back to Reddit and comment, to upvote, to go share on Facebook, to email their friend with the article, to comment on the article, anything like that. So in terms of attributing where the blow up actually happened, it happened on Reddit Entrepreneur, but again, the viral mechanic of the branding and of the content and the way we position the brand, that's really what made the difference, because these 13,000 people essentially built the entire site just from sharing that article around. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah.
Then going back to here, and then you're basically from here you're just the big push. So I call it attracting your first 1,000 fans, just because I didn't really get excited about this business until I had like a little bit of verification, like I just said. So when you have those first 1,000 fans, when you start getting emails and start seeing that your branding is actually working off or paying off, like I'm a 23-year-old kid and I've had a few business successes, but in general, I always thought, you know, if I position myself as an expert in the entrepreneurship space, people are going to question that naturally. But if you build a brand if you build the right brand, people won't even think about it. You'll hit the right thing subconsciously, where people will just assume that you're an expert. People just assume that I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about importing from China, but I just learn it from other people and just repeat it. And that's pretty much what anyone does with anything, right? But you know, just take your insights and your experiences and put them out in the internet with a brand that your target audience, the people that you're targeting, are really going to care about and really like, and you know, it becomes incredibly fulfilling to write blog articles and things like that. Whereas I used to see it as being stressful, or I used to have a huge lack of ideas with blog posts, like, oh, this has been written about before. The target audience, they don't care if it's been written about before. They want to hear different opinions about these things. So I mean, that's once you attract your first 1,000 fans, you can start putting up content, and people will email you back and challenge you. They'll say this was a really good insight, and build on your insights, and you'll learn from that, and then you'll take those insights and make a new blog post about it. Like that's how these things happen. So so this is the big push. I mean, from 0 to 1,000 fans, it's gonna suck. Like, you're not gonna have a good time putting up the content, writing the content, stuff like that, because you don't know if the content's gonna be successful or not. There's a lot of uncertainty in it. There's a lot of risk in it. So once you have those 1,000 fans, then the brand pretty much starts running itself. The blog pretty much runs itself because you'll start getting emails in with people that are asking questions, and you'll just start to basically work for your audience. But before you get those first 1,000 fans, that's the crappy part of this all.
I'm here to help you set your life on fire. Hey, hope you enjoyed the episode with Life on Fire TV, and I've got one quick thing before you head out. If you could do us a huge favor by going over to your iTunes, whether it's on your phone or on your desktop, and click over to that ratings and reviews. If you were to write us a 5-star review, that would be so helpful. That is one of the only ways we can get exposure and to grow here on iTunes. So if you could take a minute, could write us a 5-star review, let us know the one thing that you love about what we're doing. That would be so helpful. You could also go to lifeonfirereviews.com. Maybe if you're driving, it's a little bit easier to remember. It's lifeonfirereviews.com. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.